Welcoming you Gooshbagz to the Week 14 edition of the 2021 Gooshbagz Fantasy Football League podcast. You know what that means? It's playoff week, boys. 6 of you guys are still left, and it's about to go down. It's so exciting. I am so hyped up about this week of games, and I am also terrified as fantasy is in the playoffs since we're doing one and done. That will be scary. Anyways, I am your host, as always, the commissioner of the Gooshbagz Fantasy Football League podcast, Jason Peck. What a great week it was this last week. I know a lot of the games really actually didn't really make a difference. I mean, the seedings were, all, but we were talking about this on Sunday with the few of you that were at my house. That, essentially, if we lose, it's okay because you're still in the playoffs, and what really matters is that you get into the playoffs, and anything that happens from there is just kind of luck. So I am here this week with Benaiah. Benaiah, thanks for joining me. How you doing?
Doing great. Thanks for having me. And, I gotta say that was true for everyone except for James and Chad, I think. Is that right?
Yes, there was one matchup that actually really mattered, and that was James and Chad. So unfortunately, neither of them were at my house. Chad was at the Packer game this weekend, so big on you. So that's exciting. But so there was one matchup, I guess, that mattered, and the rest of us were just kind of waiting around to see. And it was actually a great matchup. It was two very high-scoring teams, but we will get there when we get there. To start off with, though, let's talk about, as always, the unfortunate injuries that happen in NFL. So first we have Terry McLaurin, who hit his head on Sunday, and he's got a concussion of some sort. I think he is TBD as far as what he can do this week. But on the plus side, he's on Neil's team, so
Who cares?
We've got another one who nobody really cares about. Rex Burkhead had a groin injury this week, and I only mentioned it because he was on my team.
You had Rex Burkhead?
Yeah, I had Rex Burkhead this week. I'm telling you, I was desperate filling in for Jonathan Taylor, man.
You know what? Maybe I shouldn't feel bad about my running backs ever. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I ever complained. I won't complain anymore.
That's all right. Rex Burkhead is out for week 15, already confirmed. We also have somebody else from my team. DJ Moore had a hamstring injury, and I think he came out, but he wanted to go back into that game on Sunday. He put in a limited practice Wednesday, so that's a positive sign, but we'll see if he ends up playing this week. We have Lamar Jackson with a low ankle sprain, I believe, not a high ankle sprain, so it's good, I guess, that he didn't get a high ankle sprain. He may play week 15, he may not. We got to keep an eye out for that. But I actually, we'll talk about it now because I know that my opponent for week 15, Ryo, happens to have Lamar Jackson on his team and no backup quarterback. So I played a little bit of defense on the waiver wire this week and picked up who I thought was the best streamer, Tua Tagovailoa, against he's got a good match against the Jets this week. So I figured Tua might have a big game, and he was the number one waiver priority there on waivers. So,
but who knows? I mean, this is the classic strategy that kind of might backfire because it's an act of commission. I mean, this is how I lost the championship, right?
That's how you lost the championship 2 years ago. You're right. The old Colts defense versus the Broncos D that you picked up instead, something like that.
Yeah, it was something like that. I defense blocked you, and then I paid for it with real money, as it turns out.
Yeah. Yes, a set and forget what you thought was a set and forget defense that you blocked me off the waiver wire, and instead, Nyheim Hines happened. And back to the sad music. One last injury did happen over this weekend. Austin Eckler, who had an ankle injury, he may or may not play. They're playing Thursday, so it's a quick turnaround. So he may or may not play. We'll have to see. I think he had. I don't know if he had a limited practice today. But they're not doing like full practices anyways because Austin is just sore, but we're gonna make sure before the game that he's feeling okay. So they're gonna see pregame if he can play. So that will affect also nobody because Adam has him and he has a bye this week. So he'll probably, unless he re-aggravates that ankle injury this week, he should be fine by the next week, unfortunately.
Way to earn that bye, Adam, playing against Buck. Didn't start a full lineup.
Right. Buck didn't start a full lineup. Well, so yeah, that would have been interesting. I think, well, both you and Andrew won then, though. So if Adam had lost, then you three would have been tied. So it would have been a three-way tie, and I'm not sure if all of you played each other the same number of times during the year, because I think you guys are in different conferences.
I played Adam once and I beat him.
Yeah, but if it's a three-way tie and all three haven't played each other the same number of times, so like I think you probably played courts twice, right? Because you guys are in the same division, but Adam's in the other division. Oh no, you're in my division.
I'm in Adam's division.
So you and Adam played each other twice, but I think that both like our division played against courts just once. So since all three teams did not play each other the same amount of times, then it goes to the next tiebreaker goes to points 4. It like eliminates that tiebreaker.
See, this is the thing I make a big stink of every year is like that we don't who's the person I don't play twice or whatever, and then I don't pay attention to it. So like I guess just ignore me, I guess is what I'm saying.
Well, now it's more than just one person that you don't play twice because they well, number one, we have more people in the league now. You'd have to play because we ended on week 14. In order to play everybody else twice, you'd need 18 weeks. Right. So back when we had an 8-man team, you probably played everybody once or everybody twice except for one person because it was only 16 weeks. So you do 14, 15, 16, or 17 weeks, I'm sorry, and 14, 15, 16 were the playoffs. So then you're missing one person. So the way they make sure that you play your division twice in this setup. They make sure that you play everybody in your division twice, and then they play as many other games as they can against the other division. So you play 8 games against your division, and then 6 games versus the other division.
All right, so there's 2 people that I don't play twice.
4 people.
4. Oh, it's 4.
Yeah. Because you play each player, each team in the other division once, and then 1 extra game.
So it's all right. So it's just only one person in the other division that I played twice. Is that right?
So I guess technically there is a well, no, it's not possible because you both wouldn't have played the same person twice, I don't think, in the other division. You and Adam. So basically, you guys didn't all play each other the same number of times, and so that eliminates that as a tiebreaker.
Hey, that's you for me, though, right? I've played you twice.
Yeah, we're in the same division.
Oh. Wow, what the fuck? I haven't even been paying attention to that.
I don't really I haven't really been paying too much attention to it either. But that was what I was guessing from. I was looking back through because I started to try to figure out what all the seedings would be if who played what, and I noticed that the people in the same division always played each other twice. And then the people in the other division, they usually only played once. So yeah, since you guys didn't play each other the same number of times, then yeah.
Yeah, okay. So I see how it gets weird.
Takes away that tiebreaker and makes it most points for, which Adam would have won, so he got the first seed. Anyway, if Courts had lost, like I was saying, you had the tiebreaker on Adam. So that's why I was saying you were the only one that could knock him out of first seed, was because you had the tiebreaker on him. If you had won, you were the only 8-5 team that won, and then Adam had lost. You two would have had the same record. You had the tiebreaker head to head, so you would have been the 1 seed. And Adam would have been the 2 seed. He still would have gotten a bye either way. He was locked into a bye.
Wait, how's it again? So is it if you win your division, you don't get a bye necessarily?
That is a good question. So I looked through the. I don't know. The answer is I don't know. Because I looked. Well, so Courts wins all of the tiebreakers against you. He beat you, I believe. And he also has more points for by like 4 points. So, so he is locked into that number 2 seed because he has the tiebreaker against you. Since you two are the only two with that record. So I don't know if he already automatically had the bye because it was a division, or if he won the tiebreaker to get to the 2 seed. See, what I'm thinking is that I might be leaning more towards what Neil was saying as far as getting rid of divisions. Because if the winner of the division, I guess it's more like, well, no, not necessarily. The winner of the division automatically gets a bye. That's not necessarily the first or second best team in the league. You know what I mean? So I think the first and second team of the league should get the byes. Not necessarily, I don't know. I guess that's like the AFC versus the NFC, the conferences. The top 2 of each conference gets a bye. I guess that's how we can look at it. I don't know. The answer is no, if he got it because he was top or not. So top of the division. Either way, he earned the number 2 seed. So even if it like he had all the tiebreakers against you, I think so. I did look that up quick. But anyways, we have a surprising top scorer in the league. You know, when his ass is on the line, I guess that's when his team goes off, which is unfortunate because now he's in the playoffs. But Buffalo Soldier, Heart of America. I'm sure he shortened it because he had to fit it in the character limit. But that's James'
whole song in there.
He probably should have. He probably tried to, and then he was like, oh, shoot, I can't even get America in there, so I better shorten it and put an apostrophe instead of a space because he shortened America. I don't know. Anyways, James had the top score of the week.
He honestly, there is precedent for using an apostrophe or a comma instead of a space set by him last year with his weird software version 7.0 weird team name.
That's true.
Like a virus spam team name. I don't know what the heck.
I think that week I definitely just called it James's team. I'd have to go back and listen to the tape, but yeah, when his ass was on the line, his team put up a hell of a lot of points this week. It was 142.12 fantasy points. Congratulations. And we've got something very special for you coming this week.
Alexander Hamilton.
Woo!
Oh my God, it's so good.
Get you that. That is exciting stuff. Congrats, James. Even though you're not going to watch this, I know, but that's okay. That's fine. I'll get you your
I'm scared. I gotta face that guy next week. It's ridiculous.
Actually, I was a little bit scared that I'm going to be facing Rio this week because his team has been good. But recently, I've noticed he's been on a slide. Like, he started off whatever and won, and now he's got 5 more losses than that. So, like, he went up to, like, I feel like he was 7-1 or something like that. And over the last, like, 7 weeks, he's been, like, 2-7. Or 2-5, I mean, I'm sorry. 7 was stuck in my head. But all right, we will move on to the matchups of last week. We have number 1, the less the merrier, or the more the less merry, versus. I didn't have I guess I had DJ Moore playing. I couldn't play Elijah Moore, or not Elijah Moore. Yeah, Elijah Moore. I couldn't play him because he was on IR, so that's great. But the more the merrier versus Waddle, baby Waddle, baby Waddle, baby Waddle. And it was a close one. It came down to the last game. Yeah, the last game. And did you have? I think you did have me beat before the last drive, before the onside kick and everything. I think you had me beat before then, like by a point, and then you got an extra point. During that final drive, but
that's true. That's the first initial 50-yard bomb to Van Jefferson.
That Van Jefferson touchdown gave me hope. It got me up to 104 fantasy points, and then the rest of the game, he only had 1 more catch.
I mean, Watson said I was done for at that point.
Was it? Yeah, it was it. Do you know what the percentages were at that point?
It was like 70-something for you, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it definitely gave me some hope, that's for sure. And yeah, Kyler Murray, like, he had 2 picks early in the game.
Yeah.
So I was like, man, things are looking good. Like, if he keeps it up, this will be great. And then, yeah, he never threw for a touchdown, did he? He ran for a touchdown, though.
That's right.
Which is better. Actually, if he had thrown for a touchdown instead of running for a touchdown, I would have won.
Lost, yeah.
I would have won. But
ain't that some shit?
Ultimately, actually, maybe if I had won instead of you, I would be facing James, and
Oh, that's interesting.
Who knows? But anyways, let's go through the studs and duds from this matchup. On the more the merrier, we had Tom Brady. It was truly a studs and duds game for the more the merrier. Tom Brady put up 30.12 fantasy points against the number 1 rated defense against quarterbacks, Buffalo. So that was a huge boost. I was debating all week whether or not to start Tom Brady. I almost put in Taysom Hill over Tom Brady, which wouldn't have been terrible, but he got me 20. He got 26 fantasy points, Taysom Hill, for some crazy reason. But Tom Brady got me 30. Also, George Kittle is a monster. He got me 27.6 fantasy points, and the 2 of them kept me afloat in this matchup. And then like you said, we have Van Jefferson, who had that 1 big touchdown, got me almost 14 fantasy points. But it wasn't quite enough because I had James Robinson, who only got 6 carries for some reason because Urban Meyer is a douche novel.
He's a dead man walking.
He is for sure. And then I had to figure out my other running back because my stud, Jonathan Taylor, was out. So I put in Jeff Wilson, and he got me 5.6 fantasy points. And I took a long shot because I thought that Green Bay might go nuts against Chicago, and they did, but it was not on the back of Marquez Valdez-Scantling. I thought he might have another Van Jefferson-type game. He had like 19 targets over the previous 2 weeks, so I was like hoping, he was going to get like 4 or 5 bombs, and one of them was going to connect. But
no, that game. There was like There's a lot of cool stuff in that Bears-Packers game, I thought.
Was like returning a punt on like the 2-yard line is insane.
Who does that?
It's stupid. Nobody does that. But Jakeem Grant does that, and he's a monster. He's just is it bad to say he's just as good as Devin Hester?
I mean, I don't think you can like even say that really. I mean,
That's what I was saying.
Yeah, but
He's
got it. He's got that thing though.
Yeah. But yeah, that about sums up my team. And like I said, not too many studs, a couple of studs, but a couple of duds as well. On Waddle Baby, we do have let's see. Devontae Adams was all the offense for Green Bay, as always, went through Devontae Adams with 29.1 fantasy points. And Jamar Chase coming back to life a little bit with 22.8 fantasy points. Now, your team is like the opposite of my team on a normal week. Like, your wide receivers went off, which I have not had happen a single time this season. I think this is the first time I've had both of my wide receivers score over 10 fantasy points.
Oh, no, it's so sad.
Yeah, well, that's how it feels. That's how it's felt all year. I don't know if that's been true. I mean, I had Allen Robinson. I had Allen Robinson at the beginning of the year, and I'm in the playoffs on the back of Tom Brady and Jonathan Taylor. And James Robinson was good at the beginning of the year. I don't know. It's been a hodgepodge of players, and then the most recently, I've gotten George Kittle back, so that's been good. Nice. But I think my team is a contender if I can just get like 10 fantasy points from my wide receivers, like, and flex. If my flex gets in the upper like 8 or 9 points, I'll be happy because I can have Tom Brady, Jonathan Taylor, and George Kittle all go off in a week and win me. Any of those guys can potentially win me my league, my weeks. I feel pretty good about that, but at the same time, I just need support. They need help. They just need a few points from other people.
Well, I'm just waiting for the Tom Brady age cliff to happen, like right now before the playoffs for you. That's
If it was gonna happen, I felt like it would have happened against the Bills.
Oh yeah.
But now he's got New Orleans, who have been bad, Carolina, and the Jets for the next 3 matchups.
Yeah, so. Yikes. That's like those are all smashes forever. Yeah, like the biggest smashes there are.
Yeah. Carolina's kind of been tough, but yeah, the Jets and New Orleans, I'm stoked about.
Well, I mean, I hope you can sleep well at night just knowing that your team is Tom Brady. That's all I have to say.
My team right now is George Kittle and Jonathan Taylor, but Tom Brady has gotten me recently Tom Brady has sucked until this week. That's also why until last week and this week. That's also why I was debating putting Taysom Hill in, because Tom Brady from weeks 10 through 13 did not score over 20 fantasy points. And in fact, it was 13, 19, and 11. So I was scared.
The 11 that'll try to change anybody's mind.
Yeah, I was scared, but then he was playing against Atlanta, and I was like, I can't sit him against Atlanta, and that gave me enough courage to play him against Buffalo. So now I'm riding him out, but I'm holding on to Taysom Hill and your boy Tua to play some goalie against Ryo this week. So we'll get back to your team here. Jamar Chase and Devontae Adams, your 2 wide receiver studs. And nobody else really had a big game for you. Cordell Patterson put up almost 13. And Kyler Murray was 17. And those were the only guys above 10 fantasy points for you. So in the duds, you had Antonio Gibson, that was a rough game against Dallas. I think Washington just really couldn't do anything. I feel like
that's why I'm scared, man. That's why I'm considering the Waddle alternative.
Yeah, I mean Waddle is a great matchup this week, so I don't fault you for considering it. But congratulations on the win and congratulations on 4th place going into the playoffs. Well, is that right? Is you your 4th or 3rd? No, you're. Wait a minute.
Never mind.
Are you? Is James 3rd place?
No, I'm playing the 6th. I'm playing James, who's the 6th.
You're 3rd.
So
Okay,
I'm
you're 3rd.
3.
Ryo is 4. Okay, you're 3 playing against James, who is 6. That makes more sense. That makes more sense. But we'll get to those matchups a little bit later.
Yeah, but I mean, this one was just like, I mean, thank goodness for the wide receivers going off, because
Yeah, actually, during the 12 o'clock games, like neither of us had anybody do anything. And we were sitting at like 19 fantasy points after the 12 o'clock games or the noon games. And then, people started doing a little bit more in the afternoon, but most of
what
the
benefited me in this matchup was that I literally could not make any managerial decisions. Like it was like I got some Jalen Waddle and Mike Gesicki on a bye. I got an extra defense. I got both Tennessee running backs, Kareem Hunt, and then Julio, and that's like none of those guys. That's like I had no choices, and that's why I won, because I wasn't able to.
That's probably my problem, is that I've picked up too many of those like crappy potential wide receivers, and I can't pick which one to play each week, and I always play the wrong ones. So yeah, I mean that's been killing me all year. Like Brandon Ayuk had 15.6 fantasy points on the bench, and Dawson Knox. I was actually considering flexing Dawson Knox last week because I couldn't think of it, but I was hoping to go with that high upside play.
Rex Burkhead would have done it.
Rex Burkhead would have saved my day if I had played him over James Robinson. I should have. What was I thinking? All right, let us move away from that terrible, terrible game. We've got 3 in a row. No. Ha, get that? I changed your name. Versus Chubba Hubba Dubba Bubba, because Chubba Hubba Dubba Bubba took down the surging X-Team IR 120.02 fantasy points to 114.2 fantasy points. And let's be clear, team formerly known as Team IR would have beat both of us this week, so that feels great.
Yeah, going to the playoffs. And he did that with the Raiders defense, which scored -1.
-1. That is definitely in the duds category. But a recent stud for his team has been Odell Beckham Jr., who has stepped up. He's gone from a dud to a stud over the last couple games. He had 16.7 fantasy points. Let's see here. We've got Mark Andrews, who put up 23 fantasy points. He's been a monster recently, and Justin Jefferson is right on the brink of that studs category with 17 fantasy points, and Russell Wilson put up 21.2. That's a decent game for a quarterback. We've got on the other side of the ball, we've got the number 1 quarterback of the week, Josh Allen, who put up 35.22 fantasy points. And he basically rode the back of him and Hunter Renfrow, who has been the surprise wide receiver 1 recently. He's been a monster. He's put up the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 5 of the last 6 weeks have been 14.1 points or better. He had one game of 5.5 in the middle there, but it's just he's been destroying over the last since. So
just keep throwing it to him.
I know. We'll have to see how he does when Darren Waller comes back, because Darren Waller's kind of been in and out the last few weeks, and I think that one game of 5.5 was the game that Darren Waller was back, and then Darren Waller was hurt again. So we'll have to see if when Darren Waller comes back, it'll cause an issue for Hunter. I kind of hope it does, because I don't want another surging Courts through the playoffs,
That's the last thing anybody wants.
I know. Courts winning another championship. He's already... Although, to be fair, he does not have his name on the current trophy yet, so...
Don't even say that, dude. I'm, serious.
Shit. jinxed it. I'm sorry. You know who else doesn't have their name on the trophy? You. You know who else doesn't have their name on the trophy? Adam. See, now
Okay, all right.
Can't all win.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
That's better.
And James. Here, I give all of you an even shot. And Ryo. All right. Now everybody else. I'm the only one in the playoffs that has my name on that trophy, and now I've jinxed it so that I don't win.
Buck doesn't have his name on it, right?
Buck's not in the playoffs. Currently. Yeah.
I
So.
get what you're saying.
Can't get his name. Yeah.
What? I like how. Okay, so 13.5 points for Chase Claypool.
Yeah.
That's my favorite football player ever. Don't you know, Chase Claypool?
Chase Claypool is your favorite football player ever.
He's so smart.
Yeah, I thought you were just saying how you want him off the team. That's what I heard.
Man, I want to keep him because of his awareness.
He knows his situational awareness is for sure at a peak right now in his career. Actually, they were saying that Larry Fitzgerald used to be kind of like him, like his first couple of years in the league. Like, kind of, I think they were saying how, like, he was kind of that same type of guy who was kind of like, oh, me, like, kind of all about me and, like, not being aware and I don't know.
Losing the game.
Well, I don't know if that ever happened specifically, but like that sort of attitude, I guess. Not necessarily a team-centered attitude. And I think like I don't know what happened in the in his career
he grew up. That's what happened.
Yeah, that's probably it. This kid's just how old is Chase Claypool? Like 23, 24?
Yeah, something like that.
He's young. So I'm sure he learned from this, probably, maybe not. Maybe he'll be like AB for the rest of his life. Who knows?
Don't you badmouth AB.
Would AB have celebrated that catch?
No. No, because AB's a psycho. He's trying to win.
Yeah, that's true. He probably would have. He would have known.
AB doesn't have. He doesn't have like the. He doesn't have like the other business like awareness.
Like social awareness. Yeah.
Like he's not trying to like. I mean, I don't know. I feel like he's just a different kind of off.
That's reasonable.
But I don't know. Chase Claypool is just stupid. AB is like a weird psycho bipolar kind of freak dude who works really hard. But Claypool, no.
I wouldn't say that Claypool lost you the game. I would say he removed the opportunity to try to win again. Like, to be fair, they had one shot at the end zone, and Freiermuth missed it.
Yeah. It was just a tough play.
Yeah, but like, he didn't cost the game. Yeah, he cost them a potential to score.
You could have had two shots.
How far were they from the end zone? What was the percentage? Well, what was the percentage chance that they convert the first one?
Yeah, I mean, okay, who knows? It's maybe 10%.
Okay, so they got a 20% chance to win now. I know that doesn't necessarily stack, but whatever for these purposes. I don't know. Like, I do understand that he did cost them like whatever 5 seconds or whatever, but
why don't you just take 5 seconds every time then? If it's not a big deal, like let's celebrate every play.
Well,
that's. Ugh.
Yeah, no, I understand. I mean, it's definitely frustrating, especially since you're as a Steelers fan, and like it's
at that game. He was like,
was he really?
Yeah. It's kind of funny. He told me about the Vikings were blowing him out or whatever, and the Vikings fans are kind of conditioned to like kind of be a little cautious about if they're blowing somebody out and whatever.
Because Kirk Cousins, yeah.
Yeah, and the Steelers start coming back, and my dad is in the stands, and there's all these Vikings fans around him, just kind of in the upper deck, and But when the Steelers kind of started coming alive, coming back a little bit, my dad kind of sensed this sort of dread among all the Vikings fans around him, sort of this weird, kind of eerie, dreadful silence. And then, you know what he did? He went, uh-oh!
And then you see a red big target painted on his back.
But
Oh,
I guess all of the Vikings fans around him were just they thought it was funny because they're just like, well,
really?
yeah, like that's what they were feeling. It was just too true.
oh, that's funny.
But he had people dying around him, I guess, just like.
That's funny.
But just in this silence, just this dude in the Steelers jersey.
Oh.
Shoot.
That's funny. Oh man, classic Mr. Somke. Shout out. Hopefully he watches this episode. I'm sure he won't. Do you tell him that you're on a famous podcast a couple times a year? Or?
I don't know if I tell him, but I think he's aware of the podcast.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, I've posted it on Facebook before, so I'm sure he's seen it, but or seen that I do it at least, not necessarily seen it, but yeah. Well, Chase Claypool. Maybe he'll learn. We don't know yet.
He can learn on a different team. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. All right. You don't want him to he's a good player. You don't want him to learn and stay, or
maybe listen, I think maybe the one person that can teach him the ways
Antonio Brown
is Aaron Rodgers.
I was actually going to bring that up. I was going to say the Packer, did you see his most recent stint?
I'm upset. Yeah, I watched every one of those. I'm an Aaron Rodgers guy. Oh no.
Oh yeah. So you've seen you saw this week's where he
with the Packers.
Pat McAfee. Yeah, you happy to be a Packer? I'm happy to ball. Great. Yeah. So we'll see how it goes. He's just
lose my mind if he was a Steeler. I can't even. I shouldn't even think about it. It's.
I don't know if that's just him, being cautious about this offseason, and because for everything that happened last offseason, who knows if actually things are getting better with the front office or whatever, but
they may or may not be. Yeah. That was it's just he knows when to give a non-answer.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. So
Pat, especially.
That wasn't necessarily him saying that he didn't like being a Packer. It was just it was a non.
That's the way I read it too.
Right. So we'll see, but it wasn't promising. It would have been obviously great as a Packer fan for him to just come out and say, "I love being a Packer." That would have been great too, But clearly, he doesn't necessarily feel that way at this point. But who knows? Maybe if we, win the championship, he'll consider coming back. So, so we're gonna win the Super Bowl, and then, we'll see.
Then we'll see after that. But the first step is winning the Super Bowl for the Pack. Yeah, sure.
I mean, that's also obviously he's thinking about it. I'm sure it's in the back of his mind. He's probably not actively thinking about how the offseason is going to go, but I'm sure it's, been in the back of his mind, as the season goes on. But
he's smart enough to know to not give an answer to that or to recognize the subtext of that question, whatever the hell.
Right. Yeah. So, anyways, let's just move on from
Aaron. Dream.
Yes, yeah, you can dream. He does like Mike Tomlin. He has confirmed that. So
yes. He was wearing that Pittsburgh shirt. I gotta stop it. Stop.
It was a gift given to him on Tuesday morning. So
that's
right. Anyways, we have one dud. We did some of the studs on Chubba Hubba Double Bubba. We have one dud really, and that's Dalton Schultz, who only put up 0.9 fantasy points. And that'll basically wrap up this matchup. Congrats for getting first in the West Division and getting the number 2 seed in the playoffs, locking up your bye for this week, Courts, and guaranteeing a spot in the semifinals. I don't know. That wasn't. I suppose we should be happy for him.
Well, I mean, we gotta be happy for him a little bit. I mean, he's he tries. He's active.
Yeah. He's just
but
always.
You have to root against him on principle, I think.
Yeah,
that's what I do.
With how many championships he's had in this league, you have to. That's He's had too much success.
I mean, my one friend accuses me of being like a weird closet Patriots fan or whatever. He's kind of right. It's a similar deal.
To be fair, it's kind of hard to root against the Patriots this year. I would if the Packers don't make the Super Bowl, I hope it's a Patriots-Buccaneers Super Bowl.
Oh God, we'd never hear the end of it.
That would be amazing.
I mean, do you want Tom Brady on Madden again next year?
No, I want the Patriots to win.
Shit.
But I'm not sure that any defense can necessarily shut down the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So you need an offense to kind of outshoot them as opposed to a defense that'll stop. That's what I think.
That's your thinking, huh? That's kind of scary to hear, honestly. Because I mean, so it's football. All right, you stop the run, then what?
Yeah. Well, the problem is you stop the run with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, then they've got Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and Gronk to throw the ball to, and potentially AB if he comes back. So,
if he really dots his I's and crosses his T's on his next vaccination card.
Yeah, he's got to make sure it's foolproof this time. So, I don't know. Anyways, we will onward and upward, right? Let's go to the next matchup of Week 14. We have Ain't No Wallerback Girl versus Rock the Hawk. And Ain't No Wallerback Girl came up with the upset this week. 131.14 fantasy points to Rock the Hawk's 103.58 fantasy points. And this is why I'm not scared of Rock the Hawk, because I would have won with my terrible week this week. So I'm feeling good.
Lamar's 1 point.
Well, Lamar might only have 0 points this week, so who knows? He'll
still start Lamar.
Some chumpy. Well, he also had a -4 in the Bills' defense there. So there's a couple of duds there. But he does have a couple of studs to make up for it. He has Alvin Kamara, who put up 22.5 fantasy points, and Leonard Fournette, who put up 21.2 fantasy points. And this is what I'm hoping this week. I hope that Leonard Fournette gets stopped, because actually New Orleans' defense has been pretty good against the run. They've been terrible against the pass, but good against the run. So I hope that Leonard Fournette gets stuffed. That's kind of good, but then Tom Brady throws to Mike Evans and Rob Gronkowski, so...
Oh, this is complicated. Yeah, I see.
Yes, that's my issue. Should I just start Taysom Hill and hope Tampa Bay just throws up a dud this week?
Oh gosh, this is so weird. Yeah, this is like this. Oh gosh, how do you even play this?
That's what I'm saying. How you play this is I have to play my best players. That's how I play it. That's how you win.
Yeah,
you play your best players. So Tom Brady goes in to my quarterback spot, even though he's throwing to, he's got 3 of the 4 targets on that offense. You have to, because Tom Brady's going to put up points. So my best chance to win is to play the quarterback
who will score the most points.
Yeah, right. Even if his players are going to score those points no matter what, if I have Tom Brady in or if I don't. So, I can't just not play him and hope that they play bad. That's not how this works.
But you could, though.
I could. But that's probably not how I'm going to play it.
You could lose because of this.
You're right. but I've beat Rock the Hawk in the past with Mike Evans putting up, points like this. Mike Evans and Gronk putting up points like that. So,
So maybe this works the other way around than I was thinking earlier. Just maybe the quarterback is the kryptonite for the position players, not the other way around.
If they have a bad week, yeah. Or you're saying if they have a yeah, I mean all the pass catchers rely on the quarterback having a good game. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. So it's the quarterback that kind of nullifies, not the other way.
Somewhat, yeah. The combination of them two, will probably outscore my quarterback, but
it's two guys, It's like
versus two positions for him. So we'll see.
I don't know. I mean, I guess this is all. I'm not deep into the fantasy theory.
Right.
I haven't read the books.
I mean, I think I'm just gonna lean on Jonathan Taylor and George Kittle and hope they.
Honestly, yeah.
Yeah.
Just hope your studs do something.
Yep. And hope my non-studs do something. I think that's more what it is. My studs have been doing stuff. I have to hope my non-studs can raise the bar a little bit for these playoffs. So we'll see. But yeah, Leonard Fournette put up his big game of 21.2, and we had the duds of the Bills D putting up -4 because Tampa Bay just destroyed them, and Lamar Jackson getting hurt, only having 1.1 fantasy points. Mike Evans had 18 fantasy points too. That's worth mentioning for sure. Again, so like I said, we'll see. We'll discuss it more a little bit once we get to the next week's matchups. But on the other side of the ball, ain't no Waller Batgirl was. This is truly a studs and duds game. This actually is the Bucks D versus the Bills D in that big Bucks versus Bills matchup. They played each other. The Bucks came out slightly better, although they did have. That's a goose. A goose.
It's the sound of nothing.
Out of nothing. That's what I should have. Just this silence.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Speaking of which, it's a great game because we have two of them. Terry McLaurin also goosed for you this week, but I don't think did he end up. I think he started playing and then he got hurt as well. He had a concussion. Yeah. So he didn't get any points. I'm not sure if he got any targets or not. I guess I could take a look here. Does it say targets? No. Oh yeah, 4. He had 4 targets, but he didn't catch any of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was held up on his main 3 studs this week. Aaron Rodgers putting up 29 fantasy points. James Conner also with 29 fantasy points. He's been a monster. Thank God that not in these playoffs, because I think he would destroy us all. He's got Aaron Rodgers, James Conner, and Dalvin Cook. And then Deebo Samuel, who's been insane. The 4 of those can basically guarantee that he puts up a massive week every single week, which is nuts. So thank God he's not in the playoffs.
Yeah, and geez, Henry's hurt too. I mean, that's kind of a side, but.
Right, yeah, he also had Henry.
Imagine flexing Henry.
That would be insane. Yeah, I mean, he got lucky with that James. Did he trade for James Conner?
I mean, no. I'm not sure.
No, he was drafted. Drafted James Conner in the 11th round.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. So James Conner, Dalvin Cook, and too bad he can't keep them all. He can only keep one. So you'll have to make your choice there, buckaroo. But yeah, so that was a great game for Ain't No Waller Batgirl, but he did have the duds, like we said, Terry McLaurin in the defense, and Foster Moreau, who only had 2.8 fantasy points. On the other side of the ball, no, we already talked about them. That is that matchup. All right, on to the highest scoring matchup of the week. We have a Buffalo Soldier Heart of America versus Deshaun's Happy Endings. And like we said, this was the only matchup that mattered this week, and Buffalo Soldier made his way into the playoffs with a 142.12 fantasy point performance versus Deshaun's Happy Endings of 127.32 fantasy points. And now it is Deshaun's sad endings because he did not make it into the playoffs. Sorry to say, Chad. Better luck next year. On Buffalo Soldiers' side of the ball, this was actually some pretty consistent games, I should say. He did have a couple of big games, like Tyler Lockett put up 24.7. That's a big game for Tyler Lockett. Najee Harris put up 23.9. Aaron Jones put up 20. And Patrick Mahomes also put up 20.32. And he didn't really have any duds. There were no real duds on his team. The worst player was Zach Ertz with 6.7, and that was above his projected total. So literally everybody outscored. No, except for Patrick Mahomes, everybody outscored their projections last week. So suck it, Patrick Mahomes. Suck it.
No, he's slipping. He's gonna. I really hope. Yeah, but it's like he's gonna throw only picks next week, and I'm gonna go to the next round. That's what's gonna happen.
There you go. Yeah, we're gonna, these playoffs are gonna be interesting, man. I'm excited and also terrified at what's gonna happen this week.
That's the real shit.
I know this is for all the marbles. On the other side of the ball, we did have Joe Burrow put up 22.22 fantasy points. He should have stuck with the Matthew Stafford stack. Would have gotten him 23.48 fantasy points, only a point and a half better, or 1.2 points better. Saquon Barkley actually had a good game this week. He had 17 fantasy points. And then we had Cooper Kupp with 24.8 fantasy points. And the Titans defense put up 19 versus Jacksonville. That was big. That was big, but it wasn't quite enough to take down Team James. So, but yeah, once again, no real duds on his side of the ball either. Daniel Carlson, his kicker, only had 3 points. Oh, but that's about it. I'm sorry, guys. It's the end of the day here. I'm getting ready for bed, but we are going to keep going through this bad boy and make it. On to the last matchup from week number 14. We have Hot Digsy Dog versus my tight end Ertzman Eifert. And like you said, he played a not full team of my tight end Ertzman Eifert. Still put up 79.8 fantasy points, missing 2 players and having 1 person who was hurt and not played. So actually a decent performance. But Hot Digsy Dog did take him down 99.84 fantasy points. And his best. Wait, did he not play a tight end this week?
Doesn't look like it.
Hey, that's not allowed. That's not allowed, Adam. You should get the loss automatically.
Yeah, you should have played Hawk for 0.
Yeah. Well, no, Hawk didn't play.
He wasn't playing at all.
But Aaron, doesn't set his lineup, and we know that. But, you purposely did not set a tight end, Adam. I know you check all of your teams every single week, and I should give you the loss for that. But you're lucky.
I mean, maybe he doesn't want to let go of the Cardinals' defense for some reason. I don't know. Or this extra kicker on the bye.
Those two are arguably more valuable than Allen Robinson. It's very sad to say that, but it's true. I really don't know why you didn't drop Allen Robinson. I would have dropped him for a backup tight end, to be fair.
See, I'm perplexed by the Allen Robinson. So I haven't been watching these Bears games, and he would have been a dude I would have tried to buy low on here, but shoot, I'm glad I didn't.
I put it out there. Nobody wanted him. But Yeah, I tried. I think I tried to start. I started trying to sell him in like week 4, 3 or 4. Nobody would bite.
Mm-hmm.
But I ended up eventually trading him for Michael Pittman, which was better for me. And then I traded Pittman and Damian Harris for AJ Brown. That didn't turn out for me. So
Yeah, shoot. I mean, it looked okay.
yeah.
Yeah, so weird. So all this maneuvering for, then you just get it taken away, get your value snatched.
Yep. It was all gone. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, he had a bunch of zeros on his bench this week. We should have put. You could have put all of those players. You could have put T.J. Hawkinson. You could have put Elijah Mitchell. You could have put Antonio Brown. Actually, I don't know if you can put Antonio Brown in IR. He probably can't. But you could have put Keenan. You could have put 3 of those players in IR and grabbed a tight end to play this last week. Just so you know, Adam. So for the future, put a player that's out in IR, and then if it can grab a tight end to fill your roster. All right.
It's too much clicking for him.
Yeah, I guess. But anyway, he kind of like Clyde Edwards-Helaire was his best player with 17.7 fantasy points. The Packers D had 13 for him, and Matt Prater had 16 points. He was pretty sure about the Packers defense this week. Playing him against his old Bears there. So you ever played a team against a team's defense against the Steelers?
Oh yeah. I mean, during that stretch where I was like, wow, this team can't move the ball.
Yeah, I guess that was rough. Yeah. I don't think I've ever started the defense against the Packers. Because they've been good every year, so.
Yeah, I was like, wonder why.
All right, this really wasn't a great matchup, so we're going to move on from this. So, yeah, that is the end of the matchups from last week, and that officially set our playoff seeds for this week. We're gonna come back to the waiver wire team. We're gonna go to the playoff seeds because we're coming right off of the matchups. So in the playoffs, number 1 seed with the bye, Hot Diggity Dog, sitting there at the top. Number 2, also with a bye, Chubba Hubba Dubba Bubba. In the 3rd spot, sitting at the top of the teams that are playing this week, Waddle Baby. That's you, Benaiah. Good work getting that 3 spot. In the 4th spot, we have Rock the Hawk, who did he get on? No, he lost. No, wait. Oh my gosh, I don't even know anymore. We've been talking way too long. Rock the Hawk got the loss this week, and it dropped him down, to 4th place. In the 5th spot, we have the More the Merrier sneaking in there in the 5th spot in the playoffs, and Buffalo Soldier Heart of America with his victory this week. Put him in. You're darn right. Put him in the 6th spot and the final spot of the playoffs. In the consolation bracket, fighting for the Toilet Bowl championship, we have Deshaun's Happy Endings in the 7th spot. In the 8th spot, we have Ain't No Water Back Girl. In the 9 seed, we have My Tight End Ertz when Eifert. And in the 10th spot, we have 3 in a row. No. I'm changing your team name. It says yes, but you did not get it, so you said so. I'm saying no. Yeah.
2 in a row. In the past.
So I forgot. We said that so this guarantees that Brandon gets the license plate cover, right? The license plate frame. I believe that's for getting last in the regular season. You get the license plate frame.
I mean, he no one will say that he doesn't deserve it.
I agree. And, he may or may not win this consolation bracket. But whoever loses this consolation bracket has to wear a dress at the next. Not that there's anything wrong with wearing dresses as a male, but nobody's saying that. But we do have a specific non-flattering dress that the loser has to wear at the draft. We're gonna have to see. We shouldn't have to ship it anywhere actually, because most people are in the region.
This is a thing that you found, huh?
Well, Chad did it for this draft, along with having the license plate frame on his car. But he was not very happy about being declared the loser after Adam was terrible during the regular season. He really put in a true team IR effort last year during the regular season, but he didn't lose the toilet bowl, so he didn't get any of the losing punishments. So we implemented during the meeting this year that we would separate the regular season and the toilet bowl loser to separate punishments.
And I think we got it right. I think it's like, okay, the dress thing, that's if that's if you lose the toilet bowl.
Mm-hmm.
But, if you're truly the worst team, you got to have that license plate on the whole
license plate frame.
I agree. That's yours.
I agree. So we're gonna have to get that back from Chad. Chad currently has that on his car. We're gonna take that off his car, put that bad boy on to Brandon's car. So that'll be fun. We got to get a picture, post it up. It'll be good. With the license plate blurred out for sure. But but there we go. So those are the seeds going into this week. Now onto the waiver wire team that would kick all of our asses. My favorite segment every single week. We've got Big Ben sitting at the quarterback spot. There you go, Benaiah. Big Ben sitting there, 24.82 fantasy points. He's been good actually the last few weeks. Despite not winning, the game.
Yeah,
but
it's not his fault.
No, darn Chase Claypool's fault. No, it's actually Pat Fryermuth's fault.
It's Devin Bush's fault, actually. I mean, that's
Pat.
Devin Bush is the current pariah in Pittsburgh.
Oh, that's no good. What does he do again?
Not filling gaps, running away from the hole, not tackling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What jerk? Is he filling in for TJ Watt, or is TJ Watt back with the force?
No, Devin Bush is the guy from Michigan that we traded up to get at pick 10 a few years ago. And he was out last season with a knee injury, and now he's back, and people are piling on him for his play. So bad.
Dude, take it easy. He was out for a year. All right.
Right. I think already the expectations for him were pretty impossible. I mean, he was sort of the guy that is supposed to, make us good again after Shazier broke his body.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's kind of a goofy. I mean, I see articles every day just peppering him for every single thing, and how he answers the interview questions, to the actual. He's the guy to hate right now.
Yeah. See, on the other hand, the Packers picked up 2 players from practice squads that are actually making a massive impact on their defense. Like Rasul Douglas has been going nuts, and Rasul Douglas, he was on the Cardinals practice squad, and his first big claim to fame was he made that pick in the end zone against the Cardinals to win the game for the Packers, 2 or 3 weeks after the Packers picked him up from the Cardinals practice squad.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
So that was great. And then he had a pick 6 last weekend, and he's been great. He's been a fantastic corner the last however many weeks he's been on the Packers. It's been nuts. He stepped off the street and he's destroying.
What the heck? You're not supposed to do that. A corner?
A corner.
You're supposed to do that?
Hey, he's been good. I guess I've only really paid attention to him when he's made those big plays. but like I think in general he's been a pretty solid corner. Like, and then like what's his name, Campbell, that we got from like the Texans practice squad or Texans practice squad. No, I don't know if it was Texans or Dallas. Maybe it was Dallas. Dallas cut him. That was it. And we picked him up. And he's been like a great linebacker for the Packers this year. But anyways, that's just our success story and actually Aaron Rodgers mentioned both of those on Tuesday, talking about, he basically said that we have a cast of, people who were cut from other teams and, have made a massive impact on both sides of the ball.
Right.
That's kind of what he referred to both Rasul and Campbell. So.
Yeah, I didn't know who those guys were, so I was like, I don't know.
No, I mean, I wouldn't expect you to, really. I didn't really know who they were until the last, few weeks, so.
Yeah, but I remember him saying, guys who maybe weren't picked when I think they should have.
Yeah. Yeah, right. So, whatever. But, all right, we are going to continue the waiver wire team. This is how we do it. We're just always on tangents. We need to get back.
I miss the ones with Courts where he's prepared and he drives the show forward in a positive way.
He does.
I just bitch about the Steelers for the whole thing. It's I'm so sorry.
That's okay. No, don't worry about it. I have not mastered the art of transitioning smoothly to the next section. It's always just moving on to. That's just my go-to. It's just moving on to. I need to maybe work on my transitions a little bit, but
you get the tricks in the bag. I'm sure it's totally second nature to some of these dudes. You hear it's oh my god.
Yeah, the transitions they make are it's just conversational at that point. So I don't know how they do that. Maybe I'll get there, maybe I won't, but
they're just linguistic magicians.
They are. And that's why I am not the professional and they are. So they can make their living doing that. As much as I wish I could, I don't think that's going to be possible. But
see, we just got to get people really invested in the different characters that we have in this league.
I know. Well, that's the thing. If we're ever gonna if I'm ever gonna have a podcast that actually gets popular, it's just gonna have to be strictly fantasy football, not our league. It has to be but I don't even know if even strictly fantasy football people stick to their main podcast.
That's right.
So I don't even think that a fantasy football podcast, even if I'm focusing just on the statistics or analytics or whatever, nobody's gonna listen, so that's fine. That's just
that's true.
Fantasy football is oversaturated in general.
Yeah, it's more than almost anything. But I mean,
yeah.
The thing I like about our league, just as one person in it or whatever, is people, each team run by a person is it has its own character and they run their team their certain way, and we can expect this or that from them. It's
right. That's true. Yeah, you can expect James to change his team name every week and then make some sneaky good pickup off the waiver that nobody's looking at, and he just sneaks him in on Friday or Saturday and then throws him in his starting lineup and they put up 20 fantasy points. That's guaranteed to happen. And then that is lineup. And then Team IR is guaranteed to get hurt. Brandon's team. He's always hyping up his team at the beginning of the year and then makes terrible choices. And and his team ends up near the bottom.
I'm very glad that Adam has a good team this year. I mean, he's no longer the butt monkey of the league.
That's true.
I'm very proud of him.
But one thing that does drive me nuts is his fake. And we talked about this. I think talked about this with Courts. His fake acting nonchalant about oh, are you watching the game? I'm not watching, or I haven't been paying attention. What's been going on? That's definitely fake. He knows exactly what's going on in his team.
He loves putting on the shucks.
Yeah. or the good game, the whole reverse psychology. Oh, no way, I'm winning this one. You got this in the bag. Shut up, Adam. But all right, let's finish up this waiver wire team here. We've got, like we said, Big Ben in the quarterback spot. We got in the running back positions Rashad Penny, now currently on Team Waddle Baby, 26.3 fantasy points. That's about half of the number of dollars that Benaiah spent to pick him up. That's less than half, actually.
Honestly, it should have been half. I should have spent those other dollars on Freiermuth. But
yeah, that would have solidified your tight end spot. We've got Derek Gore sitting there with 15.9 fantasy points. We have in the wide receivers. Oh, excuse me. In the wide receiver spot, we have Jakeem Grant with 17.6 fantasy points, coming off his big game with the punt return touchdown and then a long 50-yard tap pass touchdown. We got Robbie Anderson, 17.9 fantasy points. That makes me sad as a DJ Moore owner.
Robbie Anderson? Oh, no, no one has Robbie Anderson. No one has Robbie Anderson.
He has Robbie Anderson. He's on Carolina, and I'm sad that those targets didn't go to DJ Moore, and instead Robbie Anderson is hitting it off with Cam Newton. So that makes me sad.
I had Robbie Anderson for a hot second.
I don't think I had him in this league, but I considered it, but I didn't want both Robbie Anderson and DJ Moore on my team, similar to your Gesicki Waddle issue. But then I went and got Brandon Ayuk, and now I've got him and Kittle. So the good news for that is that Deebo Samuel has been playing running back and not catching any passes. So Brandon Ayuk has still been catching passes.
Can you imagine that? I would love to have Deebo and Cordero Patterson. That'd be the funniest.
That would be the running back duo of the century.
What is your team?
Yeah, well, Deebo, I don't think is running back eligible, so he should be, but he's not. But yeah,
he's getting the carries. I mean, what's keeping him?
What's that?
What's keeping the ESPN?
I don't know. I don't know if any platform has them as both. I'm not sure. I haven't looked.
Maybe there's some threshold or something I don't know about. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of after the whole Taysom Hill debacle, right. I think people they stopped changing positions mid-season. For players. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but I feel like that's become less common.
Well, it is it's a little bit suspicious. It does throw a wrench in the league if there's a significant one like that. So
right. Yeah.
I'm actually kind of okay with it, I guess.
Yeah.
After thinking about it for the first time.
All right. In the tight end spot for this waiver wire team, we have Albert O. And I'm just calling him Albert O because everybody calls him Albert O because you can't pronounce his last name. Because it's something insane. I don't have it on. I didn't actually type it out. We had to go find him.
Oh.
You find it? Are you going to attempt it?
Albert Okwuegbunam.
Okwuegbunam. I apologize, Albert O, because I'm sure you're listening to this podcast. I apologize for butchering your name.
There's Albert Wilson. That's an easier one. Okay.
Yes. In the flex spot, which technically I think there must have been a stat correction for Allen Lazard, I believe, because I looked at these names yesterday before waivers went through, so I didn't lose, who was on waivers. But when I looked yesterday, Allen Lazard had scored less than both Jakeem Grant and Robbie Anderson. But Alan Lazard now has 17.9 fantasy points from last week. At the defensive position, we have the Washington football team who put up 14 fantasy points. And at kicker, we have Cairo Santos who put up 14 fantasy points. And this team we've scored 161.02 fantasy points. That's about 20 more points than James. So once again, the waiver wire destroyed us. They're 12-2 for the year. So, we did better than last year so far. People beating the waiver wire, but we got to step it up, boys. We've got 4 weeks left here. Let's see if we can't beat the couple more.
I want
times.
one more.
At least one more. Yeah, we'll shoot for a 3 in that column or maybe a 4. So we'll do what we can. But let's speed it along here.
Well, I mean, it's like Aaron Rodgers said, like the waiver wire is just full of those guys. Maybe, picked a little later than they should have.
Yeah, picked a little later than they should have. But when you pull them together and make them feel like they belong and they're part of the team and you got something special, then they'll pull it out and do some great things for you. That's all you gotta do is just add them to your team. Then they'll do better. They just gotta feel like they belong. Like this team, they felt like they belonged together and they scored 161.02 fantasy points. That would have been best for everybody. Anyway,
I should just I think about this sometimes. Like, should I drop my whole team?
Drop your whole team and pick up the team that went off last week.
Yeah. Keep chasing it.
Yes, always chase. That will only end up in failure. All right.
Well, you're telling me that they're not going to keep scoring the way they did last week?
They're not going to score the exact same number of points they did last week. No.
Oh, all right.
I'm sorry to tell you that.
Yeah, this is hard.
Wait, we have to think about if they're going to do good again? Shit.
High number good.
Hey, they scored high. They'll score high again.
I seen it.
I seen it. They'll do it again. I swear. All right. On to the matchups for next week. We only have 4 matchups this week because 2 people have a bye. And last week I didn't have a guest on, but I was 3 out of 5 last week, so that's pretty good. That's better than 500, so I'll take it. I'm planning on going 5 for 5 this week. Or 4 for 4. 4 for 4. We only have 4 matchups. So we will go and check out the first matchup for week 1 of the playoffs. We're going to start with the 2 playoff matchups and then the 2 consolation matchups. Matchup number 1, we have the 3 seed Rock the Hawk. I'm sorry. The 4 seed Rock the Hawk versus the 5 seed The More the Merrier. And as always, I'm just going to put it out there. I have me as my projected winner for this week. We do have Tom Brady versus New Orleans, like we said, negated potentially on the other side by Fournette, Evans, and Gronk. I have the option of putting in Taysom Hill on the other side of that matchup, who, despite throwing four interceptions in his first start this year, still had 20 fantasy points. On my side of the matchup, we have James Robinson, who has been untrustworthy as of late, but he's playing against Houston. So if that's not a salve for playing poorly, I don't know what is. So I think he's going to actually have a great matchup. We have Jonathan Taylor in a tougher matchup versus New England, but I think he can run against New England. They're pretty good at shutting down the pass, but I think running, you can do some damage against them. And we have Brandon Ayuk and George Kittle versus Atlanta. Right now, I currently have KJ Osborne. I'm going to be debating between him and, if Adam Thielen is back in, which maybe we might not know before the Sunday games, but I hope we do, then I might have to throw in Van Jefferson or DJ Moore if he's available. I picked up AJ Green because DeAndre Hopkins is out for the year. So AJ Green might be a sneaky league winner here in the last few weeks. They're playing against Detroit and then Indianapolis and then Dallas. So Dallas might be a tough matchup, but the other two are pretty good for the passing game. I don't know.
Interesting thought. I mean, we'll see if it happens.
Yeah, I mean, he had a great game this week, or this last week, but like we said, it doesn't always project forward. But he had 10 targets against the Rams, 13.7 fantasy points.
That's promising. 10 targets is promising.
Yeah. So.
Although, I mean, I said the same thing about Kadarius Toney's 18 target, whatever. I don't even want to think about that.
That was also because there were no other passing options that game. So there's that. That's why he had 12 catches for 189 yards or something crazy. But I think it is important to note that I do have the Miami defense versus the New York Jets this week. So that is hopefully a smash matchup. But yeah, on the other side of the ball, we do have Lamar Jackson, who is questionable, and we currently don't have a backup. Oh, we have Daniel Jones on the IR, but otherwise there's no other quarterback. I don't know why he has Daniel Jones on his IR, but he
doesn't
does.
Make sense.
No. Alvin Kamara versus Tampa Bay. I don't know how good it. I think they're a pretty good run defense, actually.
Yeah.
Leonard Fournette against New Orleans. I don't know. New Orleans defense has not been great, but I think they've been, like I said, I think they've been decent during versus the run as well. Mike Evans and Gronk also versus New Orleans. Mike Williams versus Kansas City. They should get Keenan Allen back, I believe. He's on pace to come back this week off of the COVID list. And then Deontay Johnson, who's been very solid this year versus Tennessee. And then Buffalo's D versus Carolina. What are you thinking for this matchup, Benaiah?
Buffalo defense. I think you're gonna win it.
Very good to hear.
Yeah, and it's it's like I got like a hard time picking Rock the Hawk just because I don't know who he's gonna put at quarterback. So maybe that's part of it.
Yeah. All right. Well, hang on. Let me go to the waiver wire here. By the way, Taylor Heineke is okay. He is healthy.
Oh, that's good.
Full practice participant this week, if that helps you with your Antonio Gibson at all. But on the waiver wire, we have Justin Fields versus Minnesota. We have Ryan Tannehill versus Pittsburgh. We have Jimmy Garoppolo versus Atlanta. We have Ben Roethlisberger versus Tennessee. Do you feel good about any of those? Derek Carr versus Cleveland.
I don't know. I might throw in Derek Carr. I don't know. Like I don't know if I would start Tannehill or Roethlisberger. Fields, I don't think so. Fields scares me. Fields might lose me money.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So you don't.
But, I'm sticking with you. Is what I guess what I'm saying.
Cool.
I don't want to. But that's what I'm gonna do.
All right, we will move on to your matchup, the number 3 Waddle Baby Waddle versus Buffalo Soldier Heart of America. We have on your side of the ball, we have Kyler Murray in a smash matchup versus Detroit. We have Joe Mixon versus Denver, Cordero Patterson versus San Francisco, Devontae Adams versus Baltimore. We have Jamar Chase versus Denver, Mike Gesicki versus the Jets, Jalen Waddle versus the Jets. And like you said, you may or may not be flip-flopping him with Antonio Gibson or trying to figure out somebody else in your tight end spot. Who knows? And San Francisco's D versus Atlanta. On the other side of the ball, we have Pat Mahomes versus the Chargers. We have Aaron Jones versus Baltimore. We have Najee Harris versus Tennessee. We have Tyler Lockett versus the Rams. Marvin Jones Jr. versus Houston, Zach Ertz versus Arizona, Chris Godwin, the last puzzle piece of the Tampa Bay offense versus New Orleans, and Denver's defense versus Cincinnati. I don't know. Like he has those 4 players potentially who can just kind of pull the rest of the team up by their bootstraps, you know.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm worried about. I'm worried about just the Chiefs Chargers turning into it's 56-54. You know, it's just
yeah. But I mean, Devontae Adams versus Baltimore is a really good matchup. Kyler Murray versus Detroit is a really good matchup. Like you have the matchup and the talent to kind of offset some of this. So,
I think my team. I just hope that. I mean, anyone can go off. I guess it's sort of one of those deals. But
yep. No, I mean, yeah, Cordero. Yeah, all of your team has upside except maybe Mike Gesicki. But the only one that doesn't have upside for sure. So, yeah,
I think he's a little upside, just a little bit.
He has a tiny upside of. Oh, I guess he's had a couple of good games early in the year. He did have 18 fantasy points versus Atlanta, so it's a good matchup. It's potentially a Mike Gesicki game. Who knows? But I have you down as my projected winner.
Yeah, I think I will have to as well. But I mean, it's not. I don't know. It's just they beat me last time, beat me this time, and I probably felt just as confident last time too.
Hey, are you gonna have confidence in your players or not?
Well, the players are good. I'm just saying, I'm faced with a managerial decision. That's the real issue here.
Flip a coin and lock it in.
All right, you want to? Sure, I'll do that.
Are you gonna do it here?
I can do that. I'll do that.
Do you have something that you can flip?
I will flip this SD card.
All right.
All right.
Wait. So who's who?
So Gibson's heads. Gibson is the face side. Ready?
Right.
Gibson it is.
All right, Gibson. Don't change it. That's not gonna happen. You're gonna be thinking about it all week now. That might have been the worst thing that you could do. It's just make the decision on Wednesday and be like, all right, it's in. It's in forever. I don't know. At some point, you got to make a decision, you know. And if you're that back and forth about the two of them, so I mean, you have Gibson versus Philadelphia, and I wouldn't really take that Dallas game into consideration. I guess the only way, I don't know. One thing that might come back into play is J.D. McKissick.
Right. I think he's a threat. McKissick is like they get him the ball. They actually do. Yeah. They trust him.
But also Devontae Parker's coming back for Miami.
Well, if that's the case, then I get whatever. Then I get the SD card didn't lie to me. If that's the case,
I don't know. All right, does this help or hurt you? The last time
this is like a 128. This is like a 128 gigabyte one.
Yeah.
Whatever. It doesn't matter.
The last time that Jalen Waddle played against the Jets, he scored 16.6 fantasy points.
Okay. It's probably, and that was before, and he's better now.
Yeah, it's true. And Antonio Gibson has scored 0 fantasy points against the Philadelphia Eagles this year. Does that help?
Yeah, that's weird because they play. It's like almost like a double header or whatever. It's
they play weeks 15 and 17, almost back to. It's strange because 14 Dallas, Philadelphia is 4 games in a row.
That's very strange.
Very odd.
That's way weird.
Yep. But yeah, you have that decision to make by the end of the week here. By no means am I holding you to that what you did.
Well, I mean, look. So it's we're talking about character before. I mean, this is my characters making horrible start sit decisions.
Oh, I mean, I'm the same way. I'm fiddling with my lineup up until 11:55, 11:59. I'm like, oh shoot, should I just swap this guy? Like, I'm sitting here confidently with Dawson Knox on my flex right now, but you can guarantee this weekend I'm gonna be like, oh shit, should I AJ Green? He's got some upside here, but like Dawson is a tight end. He doesn't belong in the flex. Like, what are you doing? Or like,
Yeah. Right. Well, there's that too. It's the two-pronged thing here. It's like, okay, you want to score the most points, and also you don't want to make a decision that you look back on as like, oh, that was so stupid. Like, why did I? It's so obvious. Don't start a tight end in the flex. What are you doing?
Yeah, idiot. Nobody has two good tight ends on their team. Why would you ever start one in the flex? You dummy.
Except for Buck all last year, right?
Well, yeah, he had Kelsey and who was his other?
Andrews.
Did he have Andrews and Kelsey? That's insane.
Something ridiculous like that.
That's nuts. But
yeah.
All right.
Well, stupid, but he won. Like, fuck it.
I know. We'll move on to the toilet bowl matchups here. The ones that, are less meaningful, but you still have a chance to win $10 every week. And this is your fight to not wear a dress at the draft. So good luck, you guys. We have the number 7 seed, Deshaun's Happy Endings, who just barely missed the playoffs this year, versus 3 in a row. No. On Deshaun's Happy Endings, we have Matt Stafford. We have versus Seattle, Saquon Barkley versus Dallas. We have Devonta Freeman versus Green Bay. We have CeeDee Lamb versus the Giants. Cooper Kupp versus Seattle. We have Kyle Pitts versus San Francisco, and Devin Singletary versus Carolina. I don't really feel great about that lineup.
I don't like Saquon. I don't love Freeman.
Yeah.
Don't love Pitts.
Yeah, Pitts is bad. On the other side, let's look at the other side here because it doesn't look great either. We've got Russell Wilson versus the Rams, which actually he may be okay there. But Josh Jacobs versus Cleveland. Ty Johnson versus Miami. Odell Beckham Jr. is most likely out with COVID. Justin Jefferson by the way, this is something that we haven't talked about today, but like COVID has been like huge this week. Like everybody has COVID. Like Rams, everybody on the Rams, everybody on the Browns. The Browns might have to forfeit.
Oh, seriously?
I mean, that was the rule kind of at the that they kind of decided on the offseason, I think, was that like if they had a certain number of like unvaccinated players who
you're saying the Steelers have a chance.
You're darn right, and they may not even have to play a game, which could really mess up some fantasy football lineups here.
Yeah, jeez.
Yeah, I think they were saying because Baker Mayfield just tested positive, but like I don't know who all on their team is unvaccinated versus vaccinated, but they made some like I don't know. Roger Goodell made some rule where it was like if they have so many players unvaccinated that contract COVID, they can't field a roster or something, then they have to forfeit. Like they're not moving games around as much this year. Yeah, I mean, they are if they can, but like at this point in the season, there's no bye week anymore, and like where are you going to move the game?
Yeah.
So like at this point in the season, like if they can't field the roster, they might have to forfeit.
Bring up a bunch of practice squad players.
Yeah.
People don't even know what a football is.
Yeah, well, that's as good as a loss. So, but yeah, so we'll see. We have Justin Jefferson against Chicago. That should be good. Mark Andrews versus Green Bay. We have Christian Kirk versus Detroit without DeAndre Hopkins. But yeah, I mean, I don't feel great about this team either. This is just going to be a bad week for these two teams, I think.
Yeah, I'm picking Deshaun's happy endings just because I don't know. It's yeah. At this point, I don't know if
It's
Brandon's
bad.
gonna. Yeah, he's got Ty Johnson in there, man. That's not good.
He had Ty Johnson last week, and he scored 131 fantasy points.
Oh, was it because of Ty Johnson?
No, but he was part of it. He scored 7.7, which isn't terrible. Better than James
6
Robinson.
carries.
Better than James Robinson.
Yeah.
That's as many carries as James Robinson this week.
Ugh, awful.
I'm also going to go with Deshaun's happy endings, but I really don't feel great about that matchup at all.
I mean, what's going to happen is just Stafford and Cup are just going to win the game for him, and that's it.
Probably. And yeah, who knows if Brandon's going to set his lineup anyways. He might just kind of sit this one out. Who knows?
Right.
Maybe he's trying to not, lose. Who knows? But on to our last matchup in the toilet bowl, the 8 seed. 8 seed ain't no Waller Batgirl. I think he's the 8 seed, right? Did I say that? Yeah, 8 seed ain't no Waller Batgirl versus the 9 seed, my tight end Ertzman Eifert. We've got Aaron Rodgers versus Baltimore. That's going to be smash. James Conner versus Detroit. That's going to smash. Dalvin Cook versus Chicago. That's going to smash. All right, I pick ain't no Waller Batgirl. He's got Debo Samuel versus Atlanta. Like, I'm pretty sure. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, and my tight end Ertzman Eifert is probably not going to have a full lineup here. Adam Thielen might not play.
Well, that's not good. Are we gonna pick all the same people?
What?
Well, I said that's no good. Are we gonna pick all the same winners here?
Do you want me to pick? Do you want me to pick James instead of you in your matchup?
That would make me feel better, honestly.
All right. That makes you feel better?
Yeah. Just it's hey man, I need that chip on my shoulder.
Oh shoot! Now
prove the haters wrong.
So you're going with ain't no Waller Batgirl as well?
Yeah, of course.
All right.
My team's full of people who may have been overlooked in the past.
Hey, the Packers are gonna win me like whatever, $300 when they win the Super Bowl.
That'd be cool. That'd be cool to win. I don't think I would. So I bet a little bit of money on the Steelers when they had that 11-game winning streak or whatever last year.
Yeah.
And I got out. I'm like, all right, I've made my $15.
There you go.
By betting 50 cents on the Steelers.
Yeah. I went to Vegas for the first time with Christina, like a few months ago, and I soon before the season started. And yeah, I put my bet down on the Packers to win it all. I would have gotten better odds or longer shot odds if Aaron Rodgers hadn't been back already. Like the odds were way worse when Aaron Rodgers was not there, and I could have, gotten insane odds and hopefully won it all. But I still got, I think it was like 12.5 to 1 or something, 13 to 1 odds on a bet. So we'll see what I end up making on that.
Yeah, good luck. I'm going to Vegas in February for a bachelor party.
Dope. I might be going back in March, so soon after you'll be there.
Oh.
So my aunt is turning 60, I believe.
That's what you're going for. 60 is a big number. 60 is a big, important birthday number in the Korean culture.
Oh, yeah?
Which I don't know that much about, to be honest, but I know that.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, my cousins and, my sister and her boyfriend, and, they all might be going. So, it's more of a reason to get together with that side of the family. So we'll see. We haven't 100% set it up yet, but that's a possibility. We might do that.
I'm going to drink. I'm going to drink and to gamble.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we're gonna do when we're there for sure. So that's the plan. You got to hit up those. I guess February isn't necessarily the best time, but they have those ice bars. Those are kind of neat.
Ice bars.
There's like 3 or 4 of them throughout Vegas. Like literally a room of ice that you like go in a. They give you like a winter coat, and you walk in and you drink your drinks out of an ice cube glass.
Oh wow. Okay. All right.
But those are also like, I mean, it's an experience, but they definitely, I mean, everything is overcharged in Vegas, but like, they charge you to get in essentially, but you get like 2 drinks with your entry or something.
Mm-hmm. That sounds cool.
It is experience.
I think the leader of this excursion. So there's like the groom, and then our other friend, and he's like he was talking about old Vegas and how he's familiar with old Vegas, and then
Pretty much. Yeah.
So I don't know what he's. I have no idea what this dude's thinking, but that's what we're gonna do.
Old
dude's thinking.
Yeah, it's Fremont Street. So, I mean, that's interesting. We went there one night. It's like off the strip. It's like the old strip. It's like a mile away or so from the main strip. But I think I don't think it's a walk though. It's definitely like a ride, like a taxi or whatever. But it was fine. Yeah, I mean, it's basically like Vegas, but older. It's literally like old Vegas is a good way to describe it, because it's just like, it's kind of cool though. That's like the those videos you see of the street with the massive like television screen along the entire thing. Like that's Fremont Street.
Okay.
That's like, yes, yeah. That has like, it has a zip line that runs the whole way too. So like there's that. That's kind of cool.
That sounds great. That sounds great.
Yeah.
I'm a zipline guy for sure.
Oh, there you go.
Down.
Well, there you go. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty dope looking. Like we didn't actually do the zip line. We should have, but yeah, it's really neat. They do like light shows on the massive domed screen, so it's kind of cool. But Benaiah, we made it. We made it through.
We did it. We did the
podcast. We did, and then some, and then plenty.
It only took 2 hours. Oh shit.
It was, yeah. The recording is an hour and 42 minutes here, so we made it. So it'll be a good listen for work tomorrow. So there you guys go. You're welcome. We made it through, and we are starting the playoffs, boys. That is exciting stuff. We are there.
It's tense. It's like it's real. It's real stuff.
It is, and like part of me wishes that the season could go way longer, but we got 3 weeks left maximum for all of us. So
I can't say I'm pretty happy with our season. I mean, we had such great parity in the sort of late middle part of the season. There's just like uncertainty for,
right.
It's been uncertain for everybody except Messler, who's terrible.
To be honest, I think the only disappointing week was this last week when like 5 of us had already locked in the playoff spots. And like, there was one matchup that really made a difference, and then there were others that, we're fighting for seeds, but like,
right, yeah,
we
kind of have an idea.
Yeah. So
the last, it was just, all right, who am I? I'm going to be playing James. Great.
Yeah. Right. So we'll see how it goes, but good luck all of you except Ryo. I hope you lose just this week though. And if you lose just this week, then you lose for the rest of the year. So that's fine with me. No, actually, you got a shot at the 3rd place. Wait. No, you don't. I don't know. I got to figure out how this bracket works. We should do it where... No, that's an extra game. Like the losers of... No. The losers of this matchup should play each other. And then the losers of next week's matchup No, that would take an extra week. Yeah. I think the losers of the semifinal go for the third place game. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So does it not happen?
No, I think that is what happens. So I was just trying to figure out if the losers this week could still potentially get third place, but I don't think that's how that works. I think you're just done. You're fighting for fifth place at that point.
That's right.
So, Ryo, you're going to be in that boat next week. Congratulations for losing against me. And the rest of you guys, good luck. Those of you in the toilet bowl, don't lose, or else you're going to go to the toilet bowl and potentially have consequences. We'll see how it goes. But anyway, Benaiah, thank you so much for joining me. I had a wonderful time as always, and I'm looking forward to potentially seeing you in the championship. Not to jinx us. We got Wood right here. We'll see. It's all luck anyways. You know, it doesn't matter who you put in. If think of it this way, you put in Jalen Waddle and Antonio Gibson goes off. If you had actually put in Antonio Gibson, Jalen Waddle would have gone off. So, you know, it's all dependent on who you put in your lineup.
It's the butterfly effect, baby.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm the Ashton Kutcher of fantasy football.
You're darn right. All right, guys, on that note, I think we're going to take off. Ashton Kutcher and I are going to go to sleep, and we'll see you guys next week for the semifinal edition of the Gooshbagz Fantasy Football League. See you, chodes, later. All right. See you guys.